David?
Hey, Mike, David Moore, Dallas Morning News.
This is funny.
I'm just getting my recorder going.
Oh.
A little slow in the draw here.
Ted was telling me you guys all picked against us, and I thought that's why you were laughing.
Yeah, no, we did. I did first. But in addition to that,
Facts.
You're always talking about September football and the unscouted looks, but also by the nature of the sport now, September football always isn't the crispest product you see over the course of a season. So how, other than winning the game, what things are you looking for to come out of an opener to show that you're kind of on track and doing the things you want to do going into the season?
Yeah, I think September football is really clearly, what the league experiences. I mean, just you don't have the time, that you used to have as far as fundamentals and things like that. But everybody's on the same schedule, so it's not like one team has an advantage over the other. So I just think it's something to be aware of and something to coach against. The thing I didn't I say I didn't like. I mean, the thing that comes out of it is, you want to play cleaner football. I mean, we had way too many penalties. I think the game in itself, who the hell wants to, watch a game or be part of a game that has 20 penalties in it? So you got to, spend time on that. We did today and make sure we're clear, with our players of what's being emphasized. That's through dialogue with the league, whether it's before the game with the officials, the tapes that they send out. So, it's ebb and flow of every year is about corrections, solutions to make sure your team's, benefiting and from every experience. I mean, at the end of the day, regardless if it's September football, you got to find ways to win. So, and we can't lose sight that was a hell of a win for us. I mean, it's the first road win, tough environment, very talented football team. I mean, just from my perspective offensively, I can't say enough about Myles Garrett. I mean, I think like any of these players, you appreciate them from afar, you appreciate them watching video, but then you get to see him play live and see some of the things that, you just appreciate his gifts and how he plays the game. So, but none of that can get lost in this. We come in here all the time and it seems like we talk about the things that didn't go well, but there's a lot that went well, and it resulted in a clear victory for us. And so I'm very happy with the start of the season, but. We just got done watching the tape with all our players, had a team meeting, and we got details to work on. We got a lot of work to do, and it was our first time, out there. Had guys play at snaps. We were totally out of balance in the second half of that game, and it's always, you like the game to go the way the first half did. I'm just talking about play distribution, ball distribution, all those types of things. So, just take a hard look at it, and as soon as I get done here, we'll be full bore onto the Saints.
You don't analyze it or assess it differently, knowing the product will look different down the road, because you just have to look at every game the same regardless.
You got to evaluate them all the same, David. I mean, you'll never get to or attain or stay above the standard that you're trying to create each and every year. So, I mean, our standard's not going to change regardless of the year, the time of year, who we're playing, where we're playing. So, we have a standard that we work towards, we commit to. So our evaluation process is never going to change, because that's the only way you get the consistency and the efficiency. And you just go EPA from last year. We were 1 or 2 in the league as far as efficiency. So we have goals that we want to play to. Every year is a new year, but the evaluation process is always the same.
Mike Todd Archer with ESPN. Along those lines, does it take a while to get into the rhythm of a season for coaches and players?
Yes, definitely. Great question, Todd. It's about time, but it takes a while. No, I think the thing that I feel is really real important in training any of your teams is flow. I mean, the flow of the in-season schedule. Preferably, the bye week's nice. The bye week before the week one has a lot of benefits to it, but it also interrupts an opportunity to get your team into a flow. Just in past training camps, I would prefer to be on an in-season flow 2, sometimes even 3 weeks before the first week. because so much you do is, the everyday life that everybody has, responsibilities, professionally and getting into that flow. And especially you got rookies, 30% of your team's new and getting everything tied together. So, last week was, it was our first in-season schedule week. So, yeah, all those things lead into your, preparation and how you go into a football game.
Probably won't make it 2 for 2, but Ferguson, do you have an update on him after today?
Yes, good news. He'll be working with the return to play group on Wednesday. So we'll see how that goes.
Saudis with The Athletic. Mike, with your running game, we talk a lot about the running backs, but we've seen last year you use CD out of the backfield. We saw it yesterday as well. What do you like about that, and do you feel like that can be a part of your running game in your offense?
Definitely. I mean, you're always looking to run the ball, conceptually. That's really where it starts. Conceptually, how you want to run the ball, and obviously the matchups and the techniques, and schematically how they're going to play the run. So there's different ways to get the ball on the perimeter, and that was primarily how we used CD, Brandon, and obviously have used Terp there in the past. So, but yeah, I mean that's definitely part of our base offense.
Some outlet had Cooper Beebe as 0 pressures and 36 dropbacks and passes and stuff. And how did you look at his performance, especially in pass pro and the way that he fared against that front?
I thought Cooper played well, especially all that's been asked of him at that position. Going into that environment. So I thought he did a nice job.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. The rest of your tight end group, Scooney and those guys, how would you evaluate them so far?
Oh, it's great for them to get the reps. Obviously, I mean, you're always happy to see your young players have opportunities. But yeah, I thought Brevin and Luke did some good things. Yeah, so it's definitely something we'll be asking more of them moving forward. But I think the ability to, I think the guy you got to probably put it in front of the line there is Hunter. You think of some of the things that we did with the tight ends and Hunter, just trying to change the look on some things. I thought those guys did a good job.
Look at the penalties. Is it more about this is September football, we're just getting going? Or some of them are, hey, you should know better. This is something you shouldn't be doing.
I mean, it's football. I mean, you look at trends. We all do. You look at emphasis. What they're talking about, what they're looking for. That's the dialogue. That's is the norm of how things operate between the league office and the team. So that part's all the same. It's the same as it's always been. Just frankly, coming out of the Thursday and Friday night game, there was definitely some emphasis, and there's things that we talked about in our meetings on Friday and Saturday leading into the game. Is no different than the conversations that had with the officials before the game. So we just got to work on it, be better, and but yeah, the things that the pre-snap penalties and the discipline penalties, those are the things we just got to really harp on. Some of them penalties are they're calls that can go either way. So. Just stay on top of the ones you can control.
Garrett Puddell, CBS Sports. Mike, after reviewing the film, could you kind of provide a breakdown of what happened at the end of the half with Brandon Aubrey's field goal and sort of the flow there? You talked about getting into the flow.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, you have Bones today, and he really wants to go through that with you. So I don't want to lose his thunder. He's still upset about it, but so. Yes, I mean, it was end of game, end of half, obviously operation. The mark was the 50-yard line, so we went with a 2-by-2 formation, obviously hit the completion in real time, and we were set up ready to go. I think John, when we looked at it, it was 25 seconds, and so it's unfortunate, the way it went, and I think he's really excited to take you through the specifics. So.
Quick follow-up. So you were comfortable with Brandon Aubrey kicking from 66. Is there a different, would you kick 71 if it was at AT&T, if wind wasn't a factor? Or what number?
Yeah, definitely. I think just like anything, I think he's shown he can go from 70. Yeah, the only concern there, because if you looked at it, we backed right up and was going to go for it, but then there was conversation on the sidelines there, and John was really concerned about the return of it, and then once he kind of responded that way. Because I mean, frankly, I already took my headset off, so I was going for the 71-yarder, but had a flashback to Nathan Vasher from 2005. I was on the other side of every 109-yard return, so right before the half. But I mean, it's just, there was a wind there, and we measured it before the game. I think it held up pretty much the same. It was about 15 mile an hour, had some gusts. So yeah, so that's why we pulled it off and went with the rebound pass there instead. But yes, hey, trust me, I love giving our guys those type of opportunities, and Brandon didn't even blink. He just lined up and was ready to go. So. And I'll let John tell a story, but I think Brandon thought he was being freeze. He didn't even realize they moved it back 5 yards. So because he was so focused on the kick. So, but yeah, I thought it had been exciting, but I think strategically with the momentum, the score, and everything going in the half, that it's still the right decision.
Aaron Gaslin's Lone Star Live. You mentioned Hunter kind of as an option to play more tight end. What about his skill set allows him to be able to do that, but also the lead backer?
I'm having a hard time.
Sorry, you mentioned Hunter as a good option to fill in tight end. What about his unique skill set?
Well, more some of the responsibilities that he did, from some tight end alignments. So, Hunter's a very flexible player for us. Also had a really good day on special teams too. I thought he played very well on teams. So, but yeah, I think that's like anything with with that body type. Your linebackers, your tight ends, and obviously the fullback position. The more they can do, the more value they have, and the more you can play. It's a long season. It's one of the first things that we look at after the game is play time. So I would have liked to got Deuce more opportunities. I would have liked to run the ball more in the second half. We were 0 for 5 on third down in the second half. So I mean, that's how the games go sometimes. But I think position flex is very, very important in our league, especially over a long season.
Nick Harris, DallasCowboys.com. What was your film evaluation of the connection between Dak and CD? How do you feel like their rhythm is going with CD and Dak?
Yeah, I think just like anything, regardless of training camp and not being here and so forth, I think we definitely had some first game production that we definitely left on the field without a doubt. So I mean, as an offense as a whole, I mean the passing game was, we definitely needed to be better. Really, the whole message to the team is about the details. Our details were not nearly where they need to be. Especially in the second half. I thought the first half, we played well, especially for the way the first series went up. I love the way our guys responded. Love the way our defense responded there. Held them 3, and so. And the defense really did an excellent job in the second half with the big plays, as along with the special teams. So, but the passing game on offense needs to be better. Particularly, we've really emphasized bump and run, the opportunity to compete and take advantage of bump and run, and we were challenged some situationally there in the second half, and we need to do a better job moving forward.
Skyler Dixon with the AP. The Tyreek Hill situation in Miami, through the years, have you felt the need to talk to your players about how potential interactions with police, and if you can you share anything that you might have talked to them about?
Number one, I don't know the specifics of the situation, so I can't really comment on it. But I think just like anything, we have continuing education on all aspects of, what our responsibility is to be a Dallas Cowboy, to the National Football League, just in life in general. So, I mean, I think it's healthy. Obviously growing up in a household of public safety, it's obviously that, something I think awareness is important. So, yeah, the continuing education, I think the league does a tremendous job with the programs and the things that they bring forth, particularly in training camp.
Mike Edwarder, WFAA. What made Mike Zimmer the right hire for what you wanted to do defensively? And based on what you saw in game 1, what stood out to you? What impressed you the most about the way the players executed within the scheme?
Mike Zimmer being the right hire on a number of different fronts. I think number one, there's we all have philosophies and ideas. on how you want to put together a staff. You know, if you look at my history, you know, I have a preference, particularly if the staff's going to be structured with myself doing the play calling and predominantly being, you know, time-wise and on the offensive side. You know, having a former head coach, I think there's a lot of value in that on the defensive side of the ball, just because of the responsibilities there and just the way it's structured. Competitively and schematically, you know, something I was very familiar with Mike, just, you know, competing against him for decades. And so I've always, you know, enjoyed our competition, but the scheme that he brought here, I think, you know, with our success that 3 years prior, you know, you're always trying to adjust and evolve. Nothing stays the same, and I just thought it'd be a really natural shift for us schematically, defensively, and I think you saw, you know, some of that come to life yesterday. And I just, you know, in his history here in Dallas, I mean, I think that was a very mutual connection for him to come back here too. So, and personally, we both have daughters, and you know, and so it's, you know, he's a little more grumpier than I am, but it's no, I think there's a number of different things. I thought it was a very good choice.
And what stood out to you with the defensive performance yesterday?
Oh, just the opportunities. You know, I think just like anything, I think our guys would echo, you know, just the opportunities that were put to place. You know, we probably expected a little more big personnel from them, more 12, more 13. You know, they went more 11 and 10. So I think just the way our guys adjusted in the pass rush and the pressure and just, you know, just the opportunities our guys were put in position, and our guys did a nice job with it.
Hey, Mike. Patrick Walker, DallasCowboys.com. A lot of rightful talk about how well your young guys, Kalen Carson, Marion Overshown, performed. But can you talk a little bit about Marshawn Nealon? He played well in both run defense, pass rush, 6 quarterback pressures, I believe. So can you just talk about what you saw? Yeah,
Marshawn, I thought played really. I just kind of would just, you know, echo the rookie class. I mean, I was very, very proud of those guys to go out there and in week one, you know, on the road, and they all, you know, we received some compliments today. So his physicality, number one, has stood out since as soon as he got here, you know, back to the OTAs. So he's just a great fit for us. I love his motor, his toughness, very mature. But yeah, I thought he had a really nice day, especially first one out of the gate.
Tom. Mike, you know the rehab road can be a lonely path for these guys at times. How rewarding is it for you to know the work that guys like Trayvon and Overshown put in to see it pay off in week one?
I mean, really, just really happy for those guys, you know, because that's what. I mean, those are dark hours, and you know, you see them in the training room. I'm watching Sam and go through it right now. You know, he's down there every morning. You know, it's so it's a long road back, and then to see him come running out of that tunnel, yeah, that's a big deal, and it's good to see those guys out there, you know, playing free. And but yes, definitely. I mean, I think the amount of work that those guys put in, and I think you got to give, you know, Brett Brown and the staff a lot of credit.
With Overshown and his speed and his close there on that sack, I mean.
Yeah, definitely impactful. We all felt the speed. There's a couple plays here, just the way he's. I mean, you know, the fourth down, you know, he had some great pursuit plays. So you definitely feel him out there. So it was great to see him out there flying around.
David. We asked you a lot all season about Mozzie Smith and where he was and how this system would be a little bit better fit for him, just as far as his awareness and how he had played before getting here. How did he play yesterday?
Played well, graded out well. I feel like I say the same thing about every guy, but graded out well. I was very really happy for Mozzie, but I think this is, you know, some of the things that are different for him this year to last year. You know, he's really attached to, and so I thought he got off to a good start.
Was it? Did you notice him being more comfortable beyond just being in his second year? Was it a systematic fit?
I mean, they all are, and I think this is real natural. You know, I think he's going to be someone that, you know, will sit here at the end and say, boy, he had a hell of a second year jump. You know, I think he definitely took the first step in that direction.
Browns first scoring when they first scored.
Yes.
Like refs after the game said they thought both teams thought it was a fourth down. Just your thoughts about that sequence there, where it was third down.
I
And
think the whole world thought it was fourth down.
what was the explanation? Because I think on the pool report they said on the field we knew it was a first down, but obviously they didn't change the markers or whatever.
I'll stick with my first answer. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey Coach, Jessica Barnes, DallasCowboys.com. If you were to narrow it down, what were the biggest differences at the looks that they gave you from the first half to the second half?
Difference in their looks?
Yeah.
Talking about the defense?
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing was, just the third down conversions. I thought we, the down on distance, it was reasonable going into it, but we just didn't, we didn't convert on third down. They just primarily went to press coverage, and obviously their pass rush was prevalent throughout the day. So that was probably, our biggest negative on offense was the third down production in the second half.
All righty.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Mike.